Because once they put the crosshairs on him, it's going to be more damaging to his credibility, unfortunately.
We need to start taxing billionaire wealth, right? And when you tax billionaire wealth, you disincentivize the accumulation of wealth. If you cannot stand for trans rights, do not be surprised when they come for your rights.
By the way, it's kind of funny because everything he's saying is awesome. And this attack ad literally reads like a promotional, a promo material for the most part.
Forward to pushing forward legislation that would preempt localities from participating with ICE. We've also got to make sure that in this state, we are not discriminating by documentation status. Right now, if you're undocumented, you don't get access to a driver's license, so you're stuck. You don't get access to a lot of the basic things the state offers everybody else. And I think that's ridiculous. And so we've got to stop discriminating that way.
There is no reforming. There is no retraining. There is only abolishing ICE.
Fuck ICE.
That you can't reform ICE. You can't retrain ICE. You have to abolish ICE.
It was a bad experiment. It's been weaponized to do the worst things. And I think we need to abolish it and start from scratch. I think he should be impeached. I do not think he should be president of the United States. I think he's done impeachable
beast mode. Everything is so good.
Things. Obviously, as a future senator, I'm not in a position to impeach. But when they make the case about the impeachable things I have seen with my own eyes, I will vote accordingly.
So do you think the Israeli government should be considered by the U.S. as a foreign terrorist organization?
It's certainly a rogue state.
You're not going to play the gotcha game, but you're not going to say you think Israel has a right to
the truth of the matter is that these wildfires are happening more often because it's drier and hotter than it has been in the past. It's drier.
Dude, what? This is literally just the scientific consensus on anthropogenic climate change. I'm losing my mind. God damn it. People are so fucking stupid. What the fuck? Literally, they're just putting scary music over correct things he's saying. Like the other stuff, you could say, oh, the policy is scary, right? Oh, tax the billionaires. Woo, scary policy, scary music. I've yet to see something that's even misconstrued here. And this part is exceptionally dumb because he's just saying an objective fact. This is where we're at in American political discourse, chat. This is where we have arrived in American politics, where they will literally turn around and say, look at this correct thing that he's saying with evil music in the background. And people will be like, yep, that's a bridge too far. Like, what is the fucking audience that you have cultivated if you're a Republican that you think this attack ad is going to be successful? And perhaps it might be. But it blows my fucking mind.
Hotter because we continue to rely on fossil fuels for our energy. We need to get to 100% renewable energy. Number one, put as much sand in the gears into what Donald Trump and his acolytes are doing. And number two, build the conversation with the American public that gets us to the after Trump foundation.
What do you tell those people about whether or not this is a pie in the sky dream that you're going around Michigan talking about?
Well, clearly I'm a different kind of Democrat.
By the way, that was from the White House. A clear-cut violation of the Hatch Act. Like, you cannot utilize the office to land attack ads on the opposing party's candidates and shit like that. Doesn't even fucking matter. The attack ad looked like a highlight reel anyway, but it's still fucking bullshit, man. Meanwhile, to go back to the insane double standard. Okay? Liberal outlets are like, oh, what do you think about Hasan? Meanwhile, this is what the Republicans are doing. Every day, there's a new instance of corruption, a new instance of a clear-cut legal violation, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Democrats can't even have their own independent media, right? Like, the left flank can't even have its own independent media without everybody fucking freaking out over it, which is not even criminal, for the record. Like, nothing criminal here, nothing even, like, immoral here. Meanwhile, the Republicans, they're running around putting their dicks in everything.
And joining me now is Michigan's Democratic Senate nominee, Abdul El-Sayed. Dr. El-Sayed, welcome to Meet the Press.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here, and congratulations. Let's talk about your victory this week. You narrowly defeated Congresswoman Haley Stevens. And when you actually add up all of the votes, the vote totals that went to Stevens and Mallory McMorrow, a majority of voters actually ended up voting for candidates who are more moderate than you. So how do you win over those voters who voted for someone else?
Well, thank you, Kristen. I really were just grateful for everybody who participated. And the overwhelming recognition of the vote tallies is that 500,000 more Democrats voted than did Republicans in that election. If that happens, we are going to win in a landslide. Now, I know that we had it out with a very tough primary. There were a lot of issues that were discussed and differences that were identified and fixated on. But I will tell you this, that all of us agree that our differences are far smaller than what we agree on. And what we agree on is that Donald Trump has been an existential threat to our democracy. He is costing us jobs. He is costing us more at almost every aspect of our lives, whether it's our gas, our groceries, or our health care. And that Mike Rogers is going to be nothing more than a rubber stamp on Donald Trump's disastrous economic and foreign policies. And so this is the opportunity for us to come together, to mend fences, to build together the coalition that is going to defeat Mike Rogers in November and defeat Trumpism over the next 2 years.
Well, let me ask you about some news that we are learning this morning. Local outlets reporting that you spoke to former President Barack Obama on the phone. I know you're not going to give me every detail of the call, but what was the crux of his message to you, Dr. El-Sayed?
Well, Kristen, you're right. I like to keep private conversations private, but it was a really warm and inspiring conversation. I got to be honest with you, I never saw myself ever able to run for public office. I literally told former President Bill Clinton that at my college graduation, in which I was the senior speaker and he was the main speaker. And I then watched the next year Barack Hussein Obama run for and win the presidency. I watched him serve with a level of class, a level of elegance that we could only pine for now. So I really enjoyed the conversation. I was grateful for his advice. It was very warm, very inviting. And I know that he knows the critical role that Michigan is going to play in holding Trump accountable, in winning back the Senate, and in building forward the future that we need.
Is he going to campaign with you, Dr. El-Sayed?
Look, I really hope so. And it was a really good conversation about what we need to do to be able to win. And obviously, this is somebody who knows a lot about winning Michigan.
And just to be clear, do you anticipate he'll show up on the campaign trail with you? Is that one of the broad topics you all discussed?
Look, we talked a lot about what it'll take to win. Obviously, his presence here in Michigan would mean so much to the coalition that helped elect him. So I hope that we get to campaign together.
One of the big issues you ran on, of course, was Medicare for All. So let's talk about that. You served as a public health official in Michigan. You even co-authored a book making the case for Medicare for All. Senator Bernie Sanders also campaigned on it as a presidential candidate back in 2016. 10 years later, this idea still does not have a majority support in Congress. If you were to win in November, Dr. El-Sayed, how do you make Medicare for All a reality when so far it has not had enough support?
Well, Kristen, I've been up and down my state, and everywhere I go, people say the same things. It just shouldn't be this hard. And one of the big things that they bring up is the fact that they're worried about having to see a doctor if they get sick and what that'll mean for them. The median deductible, meaning the money that you pay to get the health care you already thought you paid for every single month, is about $4,500 for a family of four. That, considering the fact that the median income is about $80,000, means that you're going to lose more than a whole paycheck just to actually pay for the health care you thought you already paid for. Our system has only gotten less and less effective, less efficient over time as we've watched health insurance corporations collude with big hospitals and the pharmaceutical industry to figure out how to pick more and more of our dollars out of our pocket to put into theirs. We don't have to live like this. We have an opportunity to guarantee cradle-to-grave health care from the moment that somebody is born to the moment that they expire, God willing, at 120 years of life after a long, healthy life in their sleep peacefully. And it would guarantee them the health care that they need independent of the circumstances, wherever they needed to go. That is the kind of security we've never had in this country, and it's the kind of security that the healthcare corporations have denied us. So we're watching more people support Medicare for All every day. We're watching more elected officials support Medicare for All every day. And in a lot of ways, this campaign was a referendum on whether or not we want health care here or bomb somewhere else. And I think the Michigan voter chose health care here.
Well, you know, some Americans worry, though, you can only make Medicare free and universal if you increase taxes. So if you are elected and make this push, would you need to increase taxes?
As I've said across this campaign, I am for taxing billionaires their wealth.
What about people who
And
make less
for
than $1
the
billion and
average
less than
person-
$1 million, though, Dr. El-Sayed? What about people making less than $1 million?
So for the average person, and you look at your W-2, if you're an employee who gets paid every 2 weeks or 4 weeks, after you pay your taxes, the next biggest check that comes off the top of your pay stub is to your health insurance company. So imagine instead of paying that to your health insurance company, whose CEO makes $20 million a year, instead you paid a little bit more in taxes for healthcare that you wouldn't lose if you lost your job or turned 26 or got married or got divorced. I think all of us would be a lot more interested in that kind of a system if we knew that our healthcare would be free at the point of care and would be free without having to worry about losing it in general. So there's an opportunity here, I think, to trade what we give to a big corporation who gets to decide who we get to see and who we don't for a little bit more paid into FICA. And I think that's a trade that's worth making. I think the broader public understands that that's a trade worth making, considering how many people are holding medical debt, a third.
Dude, I mean, he is, God, he's fucking cooking, dude. He is cooking. He is cooking every time. He is so good, so articulate, so smart. The policies are well thought out. It also makes sense because, like, this is his signature thing, right? He ran on Medicare for All. He wrote a book about it. This is his area of expertise. This is what he ran on in 2018. Like, he is obsessed
Of all Michigan
with this issue. And it's such a great domestic issue to care about. His foreign policy stuff is good too, obviously. Like, if this is what he's bringing to the table and the opposition is like, well, I'll remind you that he's Muslim, it's fucking over, man. That's why I'm so confident. That's why I'm so confident about Abdul El-Sayed's prospects. That's why I'm not too worried. I mean, obviously, we still have to fucking worry about the barrage of money, the money cannon, right?
households right now.
Just to be very clear, you're describing this trade-off. You are effectively acknowledging that people making less than $1 million could see their taxes go up. I just want to be very clear. Is that a yes?
I'm saying that
the answer to this is also simple. I don't know if he actually hits the lines here, but you pay less. Right now, premiums are completely out of control. You end up paying less. Corporations end up paying less. It's actually a straight up overall tax break for virtually every American. It also readjusts the insurance pool. You know, it readjusts the insurance pool at the end of the day. Like, you're trying to trap me into a soundbite. Now, of course, Kristen Welker knows that, and she's asking that specifically to trap him in a soundbite to be like, your taxes are going to go up, so the Republicans can then turn around and use that.
we'd be paying for healthcare in a different way. Instead of paying a health insurance company whose CEO makes $20 million, I would much rather pay for durable healthcare into a government, which, of course, we all know provides healthcare for seniors who need healthcare the most. So if I'm trading paying a CEO to make more money or paying government to guarantee me healthcare, I'm picking the latter every time.
All right, let's talk about another big issue that dominated the campaign and will undoubtedly be a big topic of conversation in the general election, your criticism of Israel. President Trump had this to say after your win this week. I'm going to play it, get your reaction on the other side. Take a look.
He doesn't love Israel. He doesn't love Jewish people. He hates them. He hates them with a passion that burns in his heart.
What's your reaction to that, Dr. El-Sayed?
I love and revere Judaism and the Jewish people. I believe they're a light unto the world. I grew up in a community that had a large Jewish population. I was so grateful to get to be invited to Seder and to Shul and to Bar and Bat mitzvahs. I'm really honored for what I learned and got to share with my Jewish sisters and brothers. But they are not the same as AIPAC in Israel. AIPAC is an organization that spent $30 million to beat me, so that they could have one more vote in the U.S. Senate to guarantee that our taxpayer dollars would be sent abroad to subsidize a foreign government's military to do the worst things: genocide, apartheid, take us into wars we have no business fighting. And I'm running for Senate here in Michigan. I believe that we have a responsibility here in Michigan. I want our tax dollars spent to provide good schools, to pay for health care, to rebuild our roads here in Michigan, rather than it being sent abroad to subsidize foreign militaries. That's not just Israel, by the way. That is also Egypt and Saudi Arabia and Jordan and Pakistan. So I believe in international law. I believe in equal rights to peace, dignity, and self-determination for all people. I believe in a process that allows a free Palestinian people and free Jewish Israeli people to come together around what they believe the ultimate peace should look like. And I believe that our tax dollars should be spent on the things that are needed here in Michigan rather than to subsidize foreign militaries abroad.
Let me follow up with you on that point. You've just reiterated that you would rule out unconditional foreign military aid to Israel. Just to be very clear, is there any scenario where you would approve more aid to Israel, more military aid in any form?
Well, if we were in a scenario where there were equal rights to peace, dignity, and self-determination for the Palestinian people and Jewish Israeli people, and they had come together to achieve that ultimate peace, and there were circumstances in which that was guaranteed, there would be a very, very different circumstance. But for right now, we are in a situation where we are continuously subsidizing the military of a state that has behaved in ways that can only be described as rogue. You think about the genocide in Gaza. You think about the continued attempt to annex southern Lebanon. These are things that we cannot subsidize, considering the fact that we have kids who need better schools and better roads and bridges and better health care here in America.
You're saying you would not support sending aid to Israel, which was attacked by Hamas, but you have also said that you would support sending military aid to Ukraine, which was, of course, attacked and invaded by Russia. Where do you draw the line there?
Well, in Ukraine, you're talking about attacks from a leader of a neighboring sovereign country who clearly violated international law and attacked.
By the way, the only reason why they're asking the Ukraine question is for a gotcha. Okay? It's very simple. The false equivalence is so glaringly obvious. One is a genocide that we're aiding and abetting. The other is defense. Okay? It's obvious. I make this distinction all the fucking time, and I'm not exactly a fan of NATO or American foreign policy broadly. But it's true. It is objectively correct that regardless of the things that we've done in Ukraine previous to the Russian invasion, doesn't matter. Russia fucking invaded Ukraine. Okay? Russia, a sovereign regional power, invaded another sovereign country. So from a moral perspective, it's very fucking clear. One is aiding and abetting a genocide that has illegally occupied territories that it doesn't belong to and illegally bombed, even from the first bomb after October 7th. All of that was illegal. Under international law, Israel has no right to claim self-defense over an occupied territory. Okay? None whatsoever. It has no right to self-defense whatsoever in terms of bombing Gaza. This is another thing that people rarely ever comprehend about international law. Okay? Apartheid is illegal. Occupation is illegal.
Attempting to breach the sovereignty of the Ukrainian public. That is conditional on that circumstance. We have been offering unconditional foreign military aid to Israel, independent of the circumstances, for years and years and years. And
you think Kristen Welker is anti-aiding Ukraine? No, she brought that up literally as a fucking gotcha. It's unbelievable. It is insane to me how fucking hard every random Tom, Dick, and Harry in mainstream news goes for Israel, where they will literally cast aside previous positions in a moment's notice. What the fuck? It blows my mind. Please do a better job, guys. Jesus fucking Christ. God damn. It blows my fucking
Might
mind.
I say, it's not just Israel, it's also Egypt, it's also Jordan, it's also Saudi Arabia. That's the difference. It's about the conditions. So when we're talking about taking on Putin and his violation of international law, I do believe we have a responsibility to uphold international law and therefore to support Ukraine in its efforts.
You have said, and I want to talk about your political identity now, you have said you're not a democratic socialist. You were backed by Senator Bernie Sanders, who, of course, proudly says he is a democratic socialist.
Yeah, I remember Meet the Press with Kristen Welker and Zohran Mamdani. Like, look at how she's interviewing Abdul al-Sayed. Look at how she interviewed Zohran Mamdani, and then look at how she interviewed motherfucking Benjamin Netanyahu, dude. It is, the difference is insane. The difference is insane. Zohran Mamdani, not a war criminal. Abdul al-Sayed, not a war criminal. Okay, great guys. Love them. Fantastic people. Zohran, Democratic Socialist. Abdul al-Sayed, not even a Democratic Socialist. Not even a socialist at all. Right? And the way that she fucking interviews Benjamin Netanyahu is immensely more charitable, despite the fact that Benjamin Netanyahu is a fucking straight up war criminal, a murderer of children. Okay? Can we just look at that double standard for a moment? Can we recognize the night and day difference? Like, here she is laughing it up with Stephen Miller. Actually, I don't know if I don't know if she's laughing it up from this angle. I can't tell if she's laughing it up with Stephen Miller. I'll be fair. I'll be fair and balanced. I don't know if she's laughing it up with Stephen Miller. The fact that she's yucking it up is annoying as it on its own. But you can't be, you can't, but like what matters to me is not that she's laughing it up with Stephen Miller or talking to Stephen Miller there. What matters to me more is how she interviewed Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay. Simply a threat to unconditional support. Oh, Denims is here. Nice. All right. Everything Abdul al-Sayed has said so far stays firmly inside the paradigm of the two-state solution, which is the official Democratic and U.S. government position since the 1990s. So why do AIPAC types freak out? Because they think that unlike most U.S. politicians, he actually means it. Yeah. There's a difference, though. He's also on the record of saying that he, like, the point of it is literally because he says he does not care about maintaining a Jewish ethno-state. That is the real problem. Okay? That is the real problem here. That is the major concern. You're not even fucking allowed to say shit like that. That's what it is. All right. Anyway, Denims is here, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna do something crazy, and we are going to move on from, this part of the broadcast. What's going on? Denims is here, and she brought gifts. Here, this is your seat. Where's your seat? Your mom took it. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Hold on. Here we go. Push some of the stuff back. What have you brought us today?
Okay, well...
You gotta talk into the microphone.
Right. Okay, so I thought it'd be fun to do a hummus tier list.
Uh-huh.
You know, not at all in celebration of a certain different tier list that got a couple creators banned. Just some random creators. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Get the
yes.
board.
Thank you. Please.
We have a board as well. Did you print out the different hummus types as well? God damn, look at that.
No, she killed it. Wait, let me screw it.
Oh. Do you want me to grab it? Hold on. I got it.